Bismillahirrahmanirrahim and Assalamu alaikum, dear students. I welcome you all in today's online session. We are discussing environmental chemistry, and today we are going to have our fifth lecture regarding environmental chemistry. In today's lecture, we will discuss the parameters for the quality of water, which are the indicators for the quality of water basically, and then we will discuss the details about green chemistry. The most important portion will be 12 principles of green chemistry. Starting with the parameters, which are the indicators for the quality of water, you need to understand first that what are these parameters. These parameters actually tell you about the quality of water, that whether it is contaminated or clean. So we have set different parameters to understand the quality of water and the contamination in water bodies. Starting with the very first parameter, that is dissolved oxygen. Dissolved oxygen is a parameter that tells you about the amount of oxygen dissolved in the water, and it is a very important parameter, and you need to remember that greater the amount of dissolved oxygen, better will be the quality of water. And minimum 4 to 5 milligrams per liter to 10 to 15 milligrams per liter for the production of desirable fish. Dissolved oxygen is required. Now coming towards the TSS and TDS. I'm going to discuss these 2 points simultaneously because they are related to each other. So you need to understand that salts or you can say solids are present in the water. These solids may be in the dissolved form and they may be in the suspended form. And the fiberglass filters are used to separate the dissolved solids and the suspended solids from water. ऐसे फिल्टर्स में से जब फाइबर ग्लास फ़िल्टर्स जो हैं, जब इनमें से पानी को पास किया जाता है तो जो सस्पेंडेड सॉलिड्स हैं वो फ़िल्टर की सरफेस के ऊपर रह जाएंगे, जबकि जो पानी के साथ पास कर जाते हैं फ़िल्टर से वो डिज़ोल्व्ड सॉलिड्स होंगे विद इन द वाटर, and those dissolved solids can be separated from the water through evaporation. इस तरीके से आपके पास टोटल डिज़ोल्व सॉलिड और टोटल सस्पेंडेड सॉलिड्स आ सकते हैं, एंड द अमाउंट ऑफ dissolved solids and suspended solids is very much important in understanding that whether the water is clean or contaminated. And the larger amount of the suspended solids may be harmful for the fish. They can clog fish gills, bury eggs, and reduces the light penetration and increase the heat absorption. So these things are not good. These conditions are not good for the aquatic life. And the TDS, total dissolved solids, tells you about the mineral contents of the water, and TSS depends upon the location. That ये लोकेशन पे डिपेंड करता है कि कितना जो है वो सस्पेंडेड सॉलिड पानी में हो सकता है और इसका क्या इफ़ेक्ट होगा. एंड सिमिलरली मैक्सिमम ऑफ 400 milligrams per liter for diverse fish population is a normal criterion in case of TDS, total dissolved solids. So ये सारे के सारे पैरामीटर्स हेल्प करते हैं आपको टू अंडरस्टैंड द क्वालिटी ऑफ वाटर. नाउ कमिंग टूवर्ड्स BOD. BOD is a very important parameter. BOD stands for biological oxygen demand. And it tells you what? It tells you the amount of dissolved oxygen depleted or removed during the decomposition of organic matter in a given time, and it is a general indicator of the contamination due to the biodegradable organics. You need to understand कि पानी के अंदर जब ऑर्गेनिक मटेरियल और प्लांट्स वगैरह की, डेड प्लांट्स की और ऑर्गेनिजम्स की डिकम्पोजिशन होती है, दे डिके, तो उस डिकम्पोजिशन में ऑक्सीजन डिप्लीट होती है, ऑक्सीजन यूज़ होती है और लेवल ऑफ ऑक्सीजन कम हो जाता है पानी में, and that is not something good for the aquatic life or the quality of water. So BOD, biological oxygen demand, आपको ये बताती है कि कितनी अमाउंट ऑक्सीजन की डिप्लीट हुई है ड्यूरिंग द बायोडिग्रेडेशन. Now coming towards the COD, chemical oxygen demand, and it is the amount of dissolved oxygen removed during chemical oxidation. And if its level is from 0 to 5 milligrams per liter, it indicates that water is clean. Now coming towards pH. pH is a very important factor in determining the quality of water. You need to understand over here that a very slight changes in the pH may prove fatal for the aquatic life and other organisms as well. इसकी बहुत सारी वजूहात हो सकती हैं. For example, you can say that increase in the level of pH results in the dissolution of heavy metals. pH का चेंज हो जाना, ये pH के बढ़ जाने से पानी में हैवी मेटल्स की डिसोल्यूशन जो है वो बढ़ जाती है, एंड विच इज़ नॉट गुड फॉर द क्वालिटी ऑफ वाटर. सिमिलरली अगर इसका अल्कलाइन नेचर बढ़ जाती है, pH is basically the factor of pH is relevant with the acidity and alkalinity. तो अगर आप ये जानते हैं कि pH स्केल पर अगर वैल्यू 7 है तो the thing or the water is neutral, और अगर ये वैल्यू 7 से कम हो जाती है तो एसिडिक है, और अगर 7 से बढ़ जाती है तो अल्कलाइन है. तो pH changes, slight pH changes are even fatal for the aquatic life. अगर pH बढ़ जाती है तो हैवी मेटल्स की डिसोल्यूशन पानी में बढ़ जाती है, और अगर pH कम हो जाती है तो भी इसके डिफरेंट इफ़ेक्ट्स हैं. So you need to remember that the slight changes in the pH even may prove dangerous for the aquatic life and other organisms as well. Similarly, amphibian skin जो होती है, amphibians की जो skin है, it is highly sensitive to the pH changes. Now coming next are the different heavy metals: iron, copper, zinc. Heavy metals from industries like ये जहाँ पर heavy metal mention है, here comes the options of mercury, cadmium, lead, nickel, etc. So all these heavy metals are present into the water, and they are the outcomes of the different sources. For example, iron, if we talk about iron, then its significance is that it clogs the fish gills, and it indicates the drainage from आयरन बेयरिंग सेडिमेंट्स एंड माइंस एंड इंडस्ट्रीज, इन सोर्सेज से ये आता है और फिश के लिए बहुत ख़तरनाक है. देन कमिंग टूवर्ड्स कॉपर, इट इंडिकेट्स द ड्रेनेज फ्रॉम कॉपर बेयरिंग सेडिमेंट्स. एंड zinc and magnesium are actually not that harmful for the aquatic life, but अगर इनकी कंसनट्रेशन बहुत ज़्यादा बढ़ जाए तो ये फैटल होते हैं, वरना ये इतने ख़तरनाक नहीं है. Now nitrates and phosphates may come from the fertilizer sources, and what is most important thing about the presence of nitrate is that it enhances the growth of plants in the water. As I explained in the previous lecture कि बहुत सारे ऐसे chemicals होते हैं जो पानी में plant की growth को enhance कर देते हैं, and because of that what happens, the level of oxygen in the water is depleted, and after the decomposition of these plants, a very bad odor is produced which makes the water unfit. So in nitrates का होना पानी में above a certain level is not good for the quality of water. So these are the different indicators that tells you about the quality of water. Now we are going to discuss the second half of this lecture, that is green chemistry. Dear students, you need to remember that whenever the word green chemistry comes, आपके जहन में एक इंडिकेशन आनी चाहिए, एक नोशन आनी चाहिए that it is a environment friendly aspect. इस ब्रांच ऑफ केमिस्ट्री में इंजीनियर्स स्ट्राइव करते हैं ऐसे प्रोसेसेस को डिज़ाइन करने में, ऐसे प्रोडक्ट्स को बनाने में दोज आर लेस हार्मफुल फॉर द इन्वायरमेंट एंड द पीपल लिविंग इन द इन्वायरमेंट और ऑन द अर्थ. So that has been mentioned in this slide as well, that the design of the chemical products and processes that reduce or eliminate the use and generation of hazardous substances, and it aims at or emphasizes the design and creation of chemicals that are not hazardous to people or the environment. So this is what I have explained earlier कि environmental friendly aspect है ये, और green chemistry में engineers try to design such processes for the formation of different products that may not affect the environment in a bad way. ये जो chemicals का environment पे effect को कम कर देता है, ऐसे products बनाए जाते हैं. Now why green chemistry? तो ये definition में ही clear हो जाता है, because it reduces the chemical hazards and it helps in meeting the cheaper and profitable environmental goals. It makes the companies to comply with the laws for environmental safety. Under the environmental chemistry or under this field, different rules have been set जो industries को follow करना होते हैं, and by following those principles the safety of this environment can be ensured up to certain level, and it can be applied to all kinds of environmental issues. Now coming towards the advances in green chemistry, so here is an example of Synopsat, which is an insecticide, and you need to remember over here that Synopsat is manufactured by fermenting a soil microbe, and it is not that harmful for the plants and animals. Yes, it is harmful for the insects unless it is dried, but it is not that harmful as the other insecticides are. And the reasons are and the reasons why we consider it less toxic, because it does not bioaccumulate. ये environment के अंदर accumulate नहीं होता. It does not leach or volatilize and persist in the environment. इनमें से कोई भी ऐसी quality नहीं है जो ये रखता हो. That is why it is reliable. Now coming towards how does green chemistry works. So green chemistry reduces the chemical impact on the health, searching alternative environment friendly reaction medium. So this is a very important point कि green chemistry में हम alternative ways ढूंढते हैं चीज़ों को बनाने के लिए, those ways which ensures the safety of the environment, and striving to achieve increased reaction rates at low temperature. This is another very important thing, that reactions are tried to be performed at the temperature which do not affect the environment, and then innovating the scientific solutions to solve environmental issues. Now coming towards the 12 principles of chemistry, dear students, this is a very important long question. ये आपके पेपर में as it is भी पूछा जाता है कि what are 12 principles of green chemistry. You need to remember that those were developed by Paul and John, and they focus on the reduction in chemical use and pollution prevention. These 12 rules are categorized as: number 1, risk reduction, and number second, minimizing environmental footprints. You need to remember while discussing the 12 principles, I will discuss the first 4 principles which are regarding the safety of the employees and the people who are going to use the products like public. तो पहले 4 जो मैं आपको प्रिंसिपल्स डिस्कस करूँगी आपके साथ यहाँ पर, दोज आर रिगार्डिंग रिस्क रिडक्शन, एंड द रेस्ट 8 principles out of 12 will be about minimizing the environmental footprints, means those will be the principles that will help you to protect your environment. So starting with the first 4, these are for the reduction of the risk for employees and the public. Number 1, use safer chemicals. Obviously utilize परफॉर्मेंस केमिकल्स दैट हैव द लोएस्ट लेवल्स ऑफ टॉक्सिटी. ऐसे केमिकल्स को यूज़ किया जाए जो ज़्यादा टॉक्सिक नहीं हैं. देन कम्स डिज़ाइन लेस हैज़ार्डस सिंथेटिक मेथड्स. ऐसे मेथड्स को डिवाइस किया जाता है विच आर नॉट दैट हार्मफुल. It has been mentioned that where feasible, make use of synthetic or biosynthetic methods that pose little or no toxicity to human health and environment. So biosynthetic methods are actually reliable. यूज़ सेफ़र सॉल्वेंट्स एंड रिएक्शन कंडीशंस. ऐसी कंडीशंस सेट करें जो बहुत हार्मफुल और बहुत एक्सट्रीम नहीं है, और ऐसे सॉल्वेंट्स यूज़ करें विच आर सेफ़. एंड देन एक्सीडेंट प्रिवेंशन. सेलेक्ट सब्सटेंसेस दैट मिनिमाइज द पोटेंशियल फॉर एक्सप्लोजन, फायर्स एंड केमिकल्स रिलीजेज इन द एनवायरनमेंट. You must use such things, such substances, and should maintain such conditions that reduces the risk of accident. Then coming towards the 8 such principles which are actually for minimizing the environmental footprints, and that starts with the waste minimization and prevention. Develop synthesis techniques which reduces and prevent waste, or you can take it as the recycling thing. Now the use of catalyst instead of stoichiometric quantities. Catalysts has or have a quality that they can be used again and again, and their small amount is enough for achieving the larger goals. आप ये जानते हैं कि कैटलिस्ट को बहुत छोटी अमाउंट में अगर यूज़ किया जाए तो भी ये रिएक्शन को अचीव करने में हेल्प कर देता है. और कंडीशंस जो हैं कैटलिस्ट की प्रेजेंस में माइल्ड कंडीशंस भी चल जाती हैं. दैट इज़ वाई दे रिकमेंड द यूज़ ऑफ कैटलिस्ट. So catalytic reactions inherently use smaller quantities of chemicals to carry out a specified transformation. Then reduce the use of chemical derivatives. The use of protecting groups or other forms of temporary modification of functionality adds to the total waste incurred in a synthetic route. They try to use the simple things, try not to use the derivatives. Now synthetic efficiency or atom economy. This is the very important point you need to remember over here. इसके मुतल्लिक शॉर्ट क्वेश्चन भी पूछा जा सकता है आपसे. सो यू हैव टू इंश्योर कि आप एक ऐसा प्रोसेस डिज़ाइन कर रहे हैं जिसमें मैक्सिमम रिएक्टेंट जो है आपका वो प्रोडक्ट में कन्वर्ट हो रहा है और बहुत कम अमाउंट जो है वो वेस्ट हो रही है. दिस इज़ एक्सप्लेन्ड इन टर्म्स ऑफ सिंथेटिक एफिशिएंसी, बिकॉज ऐसा रिएक्शन जो है वो बहुत efficient होता है. So an efficient chemical process ensures the maximum amount of your starting material is used in the final product so that no atom is wasted. Now here comes taking advantage of the chemicals designed for degradation. आप एक ऐसे प्रोडक्ट्स डिज़ाइन करें जो कि वक्त के साथ साथ खुद ही डिग्रेड हो जाती हैं चीज़ें. फॉर द very best example is the biodegradable plastics which have been made. Then comes the establishment of in-process controls for the pollution prevention. It means that if the process is occurring in laboratory or on the industrial scale, then you should have to check the progress, and you must have a control, and you should analyze कि इस process के दौरान कोई ऐसी चीज़ तो नहीं बन रही that is very harmful. It means you should have proper control over the synthetic processes. Then comes the use of renewable feedstocks. It is not feedbacks, it is misprint, sorry, it is actually feedstock. The use of renewable feedstock. Use raw materials or renewable feedstocks वेन एवर टेक्निकली या इकोनॉमिकली फिजिबल, बिकॉज हम जानते हैं कि जैसे फर्टिलाइज़र्स हम यूज़ करते हैं, बट इन मैनी एरियाज़ एनिमल मैन्योर इज़ यूज्ड इंस्टेड ऑफ द सिंथेटिक फर्टिलाइज़र्स एंड दैट इज़ मोर यूज़फुल। आप बहुत सारी नेचुरल चीज़ों को यूज़ कर सकते हैं इन प्लेस ऑफ द सिंथेटिक थिंग्स, दोज आर मोर रिलायबल and environment friendly. Now coming towards the last one, encourage energy efficiency. The realization of economical and environmental impact of energy use in a chemical process and the development of alternative means to reduce the impact. That it should be first analyzed that what you are going to produce and what process you have designed for that production, और कोशिश ये की जाती है कि उसके अंदर जो एनर्जी एफिशिएंसी है, इनकरेज एनर्जी एफिशिएंसी। एफिशिएंसी मींस कि आप जो एनर्जी का सोर्स यूज़ कर रहे हैं उसको इस तरीके से यूटिलाइज़ किया जाता है प्रोसेस में कि वेस्ट नहीं होता, एनर्जी वेस्ट नहीं होती। सो दिस इज़ अनदर वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट प्रिंसिपल ऑफ इन्वायरमेंटल green chemistry or environment friendly chemistry, you can say. So that is all for today. Thank you so much. Stay blessed, stay safe.